Imagine doing everything right and still being invisible. Now imagine doing almost nothing and being unforgettable. One man is chased, the other is ignored. Same city, same women, completely different outcome. And the reason has nothing to do with looks, money, or status. Here's the uncomfortable truth most men never hear. Female addiction doesn't begin with attraction. It begins with psychological imbalance. Let me paint the picture. You've improved yourself. Gym, money, discipline. You followed the rules they gave you. And yet, when you sit across from her, something is missing. She smiles, but her eyes don't lock in. She responds, but she doesn't lean forward. You feel like you're auditioning. Meanwhile, another man walks in. No resume, no flexing, no performance. And suddenly the room shifts. Her voice changes. Her body opens. Her attention sticks. This isn't coincidence. This is dark psychology in action. Here's the first rule you must understand before anything else. Women don't bond through logic. They bond through emotional tension. And emotional tension is created when a man is psychologically unreachable, but emotionally present. That's the paradox. The moment a woman feels she can figure you out, predict you, or control how you feel about her, the addiction dies before it starts. Most men unknowingly destroy attraction by trying to be understood, liked, or chosen. They lead with effort instead of energy. They offer certainty instead of mystery. And certainty feels safe, but it never feels addictive. In dark psychology, addiction always starts with uncertainty mixed with calm. Not chaos, not games, but a grounded man who doesn't chase outcomes. Here's the cliffhanger. If you don't understand why women emotionally attach to men who don't need them, you'll spend your entire life improving everything except the one thing that matters. Now I'll expose the biggest lie men believe about value, and why trying to prove yourself instantly puts you below her psychologically. The fastest way to lose a woman is to show her how much you want her approval. That sounds backwards, but dark psychology is always backwards. Here's the lie that quietly destroys men. You've been told attraction is earned, that if you stack enough value, money, muscles, status, confidence, women will naturally feel desire. So you perform, you explain yourself, you showcase your life, you try to qualify, and in doing so, you psychologically demote yourself. Because the moment a man tries to prove value, he signals something dangerous at a subconscious level. I don't already believe I'm enough. Women don't respond to what you say. They respond to what your behavior implies. And trying to impress implies lack. Here's the dark psychology principle most men never grasp. Attraction isn't about how valuable you are. It's about who feels like they're being evaluated. If she feels like you're trying to win her, the frame flips. She becomes the prize. You become the applicant. And once that frame is set, addiction is impossible. But when a man is internally settled, not chasing validation, not seeking approval, not rushing outcomes, something strange happens. She starts asking herself silent questions. Why isn't he trying? What does he see that I don't? Does he even care if I like him? That uncertainty creates emotional gravity. This is why average men with calm certainty outperform high-status men who need reactions. One is centered, the other is needy in disguise. And here's the twist. Most men think confidence comes after success. But in reality, success follows internal certainty. Women don't get addicted to your achievements. They get addicted to the feeling that you don't need them to feel whole. And when she realizes that, she starts wanting to be the one who matters. Now I'll reveal how women subconsciously rank men in seconds, and the invisible signal that decides whether you're above or below her psychologically. Before you finish your first sentence, she's already decided your fate, not consciously, instinctively. This is where dark psychology becomes uncomfortable. Women don't slowly figure men out. They place men above me or below me, and once that internal ranking happens, everything else becomes theater. Here's how it works. When a woman meets you, her mind scans for one thing: emotional leverage. She's not asking, is he handsome? Or, is he successful? She's asking, can this man be shaken? Can he be impressed? Can he be offended? Can he be controlled through attention, sex, or approval? If the answer is yes, your position drops. Most men fail here without realizing it. They react too quickly. They explain themselves. They seek reassurance. They adjust their behavior to keep her interest. Each reaction whispers the same message. My emotional state depends on you. Women don't get addicted to men they can emotionally control. They get bored of them. Now compare that to a self-validated man. He enjoys appreciation, but doesn't feed on it. He can sit in silence. He can disagree calmly. He can walk away without resentment. That emotional independence creates tension because she can't regulate him. She can't reward or punish him into compliance, so her investment increases. This is the hidden reason women test men, not to reject them, but to see if they're emotionally solid. Will he crumble? Will he overreact? Will he try harder? Or will he stay the same? The man who stays the same wins. But here's where it gets deeper. The fastest way men give women power is by making sex the goal. Now I'll explain why sexual hunger hands women control, and why men who don't chase sex create the strongest obsession. The moment she believes other women want you, her curiosity ignites. But the moment she believes you want her to notice that, the spell breaks. This is where most men self-sabotage. They hear pre-selection and think performance. They name-drop women. They flirt loudly. They try to look desired. And every time they do, they leak desperation. Because dark psychology rule number 1, value never announces itself. Real pre-selection is silent. It's felt, not shown. It's the calm of a man who's been chosen before and doesn't need to relive it. Women don't become attracted because you say you have options. They become attracted when your behavior suggests you'd be fine without them. Here's what real pre-selection looks like. You're relaxed. You don't rush replies. You don't overinvest early. You enjoy the interaction without gripping it. And suddenly she starts wondering, is he talking to other women? Why doesn't he push for more? Why do I feel like I'm chasing? That curiosity is the first stage of addiction. But here's the danger. You cannot fake this energy. Women are wired to detect incongruence. If you act like you have options, but feel empty without her attention, she senses it immediately. And once she senses it, attraction collapses. This is why men who study techniques fail. They memorize behaviors without fixing the internal state. Pre-selection is a byproduct, not a strategy. It comes from being internally full, from having a life, purpose, and identity that existed before her. And this leads to a deeper truth. There are 2 types of value, external and internal. Now I'll expose why men who chase external value stay invisible, and why internal value makes women emotionally addicted without effort. You can give a man money, muscles, and status, and still leave him powerless. Because women don't attach to what you have. They attach to what you are. This is the split most men never see. External value versus internal value. External value is visible. Money, looks, titles, lifestyle. It impresses, but it doesn't bind. Internal value is invisible. Calm, self-trust, emotional independence. It doesn't impress, it anchors. Here's the dark psychology twist. External value only works when internal value already exists. Without it, success makes you more needy, not less. Why? Because when your confidence is built on achievements, it becomes conditional. Lose the money, confidence cracks. Lose the body, self-worth shakes. Lose the woman, identity collapses. Women sense this fragility instantly, and fragility kills addiction. Now compare that to a man with solid internal value. He's comfortable being misunderstood. He doesn't chase closure. He doesn't need reassurance. Not because he's detached, but because he's settled. This is why some men with average lives create intense emotional pull. They aren't seeking anything from her. So when they give attention, it feels rare. When they pull back, it feels significant. Internal value creates emotional contrast. She feels the difference between men who want something from her and a man who simply chooses her, and choice feels intoxicating. But here's the trap. Most men try to build confidence by improving themselves. Gym, hustle, discipline, and improvement is good, but not when it comes from self-rejection. Now I'll reveal why chasing confidence through achievement actually makes you weaker, and how real. Confidence is built in a way most men never consider. The more you try to become confident, the more you silently confirm that you aren't. That's the paradox. Most men believe confidence is a reward, something you earn after fixing yourself, after leveling up, after becoming better. But dark psychology exposes the flaw. When you chase confidence, you tell your subconscious one dangerous thing. Who I am right now is not enough. And that belief leaks into everything. Your tone, your posture, your reactions, your need for results. Women don't hear that thought. They feel it. That's why men with impressive lives still feel unsure around women. Their confidence is borrowed, conditional, easily shaken. Real confidence doesn't come from improvement. It comes from self-acceptance, not complacency. Acceptance. Being okay with who you are before you change. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Men who hate who they are become successful, but never secure. Men who accept who they are become grounded. And grounding is addictive, because a grounded man isn't trying to escape himself. He's not using women as proof of worth. He's not hunting validation through attention or sex. He enjoys women without needing them. And needlessness is power. This is why women often feel safer with men who seem unfinished. Because those men aren't using them emotionally. They aren't extracting validation. They aren't leaning. And here's the psychological effect. When she senses you don't need her to feel whole, her mind starts asking, why? What does he already have? Why do I want to matter to him? That question becomes obsession. But there's one behavior that instantly exposes insecurity, even in confident-looking men. Validation seeking. Now, I'll show you how validation kills attraction in real time, and how men unknowingly beg for it without ever saying a word. You don't have to ask for validation to beg for it. Most men do it silently, and women notice immediately. Validation seeking isn't words, it's behavior. It's how quickly you respond, how much you explain, how often you adjust yourself to keep her comfortable. Every time you look to her reaction to decide how you feel, you give away power. And in dark psychology, power imbalance decides attraction. Here's how validation seeking shows up. You tell a story and watch her face. If she laughs, you relax. If she doesn't, you panic internally. You compliment her, hoping she'll return it. You agree when you don't. You overgive to feel chosen. None of this is conscious, but it's loud. And what it communicates is simple. My emotional state is in your hands. Women don't get addicted to men they can emotionally control. They get bored of them. Now compare that to a self-validated man. He enjoys appreciation, but doesn't feed on it. He can sit in silence. He can disagree calmly. He can walk away without resentment. That emotional independence creates tension, because she can't regulate him. She can't reward or punish him into compliance, so her investment increases. This is the hidden reason women test men, not to reject them, but to see if they're emotionally solid. Will he crumble? Will he overreact? Will he try harder? Or will he stay the same? The man who stays the same wins. But here's where it gets deeper. The fastest way men give women power is by making sex the goal. Now I'll explain why sexual hunger hands women control, and why men who don't chase sex create the strongest obsession. The moment sex becomes your goal, you lose leverage, because whoever wants something more is already below. This is dark psychology at its rawest. Most men think desire is masculine, but need is submissive. And when sex is the objective, every interaction tilts in her favor. She feels it. Your patience shortens. Your standards soften. Your behavior adjusts. You become predictable. And predictability kills obsession. Here's the truth most men avoid. When a woman knows sex will emotionally validate you, she controls the frame. She can delay it, use it as leverage, withdraw it to test you. Not maliciously, instinctively. But when sex is not your priority, something powerful happens. You slow down, you observe. You enjoy connection without urgency. And suddenly she's the one wondering, why isn't he pushing? Does he even want me? What do I need to do? That uncertainty creates investment. Here's the counterintuitive move. Sometimes the most attractive thing a man can do is say no. Not dramatically, not to manipulate, simply because he can. Turning down sex when you're not aligned, not present, or not interested signals abundance, discipline, and self-respect. Traits women rarely encounter. Most men would never walk away from opportunity. So when you can, you become different. But there's a deeper layer. To say no without fear, you must be emotionally centered, and that requires something modern men lack: Stoicism. Now I'll reveal why emotional control, not emotional expression, is the core of masculine attraction and female addiction. The man who can't be shaken becomes unforgettable. Not loud, not dominant. Unshakable. This is Stoicism, not suppression but control. In dark psychology, emotional stability equals authority. Most men misunderstand this. They think being expressive makes them real. But uncontrolled emotion makes them reactive. Women don't feel safe with reactive men. They feel cautious, because if your emotions spike and crash, she becomes the regulator. And no woman wants to manage a man emotionally. A stoic man is different. He doesn't over-celebrate approval. He doesn't collapse under disapproval. He doesn't chase reassurance. He remains centered. This creates something rare, emotional asymmetry. She feels more than he shows. She invests more than she expected. And investment creates attachment. Here's why Stoicism fuels addiction. When a woman can't provoke strong reactions, anger, jealousy, insecurity, she tries harder, not consciously, biologically. She wants to feel felt by him. But here's the key. Stoicism is not coldness. It's presence without volatility. You listen. You respond. You remain steady. This steadiness allows her to relax into her emotions, while you stay grounded. And that polarity is magnetic. Perhaps the most important trait a man can develop is non-reactivity. Now, I'll explain why presence is rarer than confidence and why it quietly pulls women into emotional dependence. Being present is the quietest weapon of attraction, and almost no man wields it. Most men are somewhere else, planning, comparing, analyzing, or performing. They talk, but they're not there. They listen, but they're not hearing, and women feel it instantly. Dark psychology exposes a brutal truth. Women become addicted to how you make them feel, not what you say or do. Presence creates a magnetic tension. She feels seen. She feels understood. She feels safe to explore her emotions without manipulating yours. Contrast this with men who chase outcomes. Every word is a tool. Every smile a bribe. Every touch a transaction. The energy is exhausting. She leaves mentally before she leaves physically. Now compare that to a present man. He doesn't react to tests. He doesn't anticipate her moves. He just is. And being just is creates something almost invisible. Emotional dependency. She doesn't just want him around. She thinks about him when he isn't. She notices the silence he leaves. She remembers the calm he brings. And here's the twist few men realize. Presence outweighs looks, money, and charm combined. But it only works if it's authentic. Fake presence is worse than none at all. Now, I'll reveal the ultimate psychological trigger that locks women into obsession, and why most men can never activate it without internal mastery. There's one psychological trigger that makes women mentally addicted, and almost no man ever activates it. It's not sex. It's not money. It's not grand gestures. It's internal peace. A man at peace with himself, unshakable by rejection, criticism, or circumstance, radiates an energy few can resist. Most men are chaotic. Their worth is borrowed from reactions, attention, and approval. They chase outcomes, validation, and results. And women feel it. Every interaction screams neediness. But a man who has mastered his internal world, who doesn't require anything from anyone, who is centered regardless of external chaos, creates a psychological vacuum. Women instinctively want to fill it. They want to be part of his calm. They become emotionally involved without realizing it. This is the final secret most dating advice never teaches. Addiction is not about seduction. It's about being complete without her. And here's the kicker. You don't need to fake anything. No tricks, no lines, no games. All it takes is self-validation, emotional grounding, and presence. Now the final part, I'll show you how to combine every principle so women naturally become addicted, while you remain completely untouchable emotionally. This is where it all comes together. The hidden formula that turns subtle attraction into full-blown female addiction. Remember everything we've covered. Internal versus external value. Women attach to who you are, not what you have. Validation, never chase it. It destroys attraction. Pre-selection, let it be silent and authentic. Sex as leverage, don't make it your goal. Stoicism and presence, emotional stability draws her in. Internal peace, the ultimate psychological trigger. Now imagine combining them seamlessly in real life. You remain calm under tests. You listen without needing reaction. You exude confidence without showing off. You enjoy moments without chasing results. She senses your grounded energy. She notices your choice to interact without need. She feels compelled to chase emotionally, without even realizing why. This isn't manipulation, it's transformation. It's becoming the man who doesn't need validation and naturally pulls women into emotional dependence. Here's the ultimate truth. Women don't become addicted to men who prove their value. They become addicted to men who embody it internally. Do this, and attraction flips. She invests, she obsesses, she desires, all while you remain untouchable emotionally. The journey isn't easy. It requires work on your inner world, not just your outer life. But for those who commit, the rewards are extraordinary. A woman addicted to your presence isn't just fantasy. It's the natural consequence of mastering dark psychology principles that 99% of men will never understand. You now have the blueprint. The choice is yours.